Appeals. Ms. Rachel Randolph, please call the roll.
Mr. Collane?
Here.
Ms. Norick?
Present.
Here.
Mr. Sermon?
Here.
Chairman Schneider?
Here. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you new to our proceedings, the purpose of this board is to hear evidence on applications for variances from our zoning ordinance on applications for special use. Based upon the evidence we hear this evening, we will make recommendations to the Village Board of Trustees as to whether the applications that come before us this evening should be granted or denied. We will vote to recommend granting or denying each application for variation based on whether the application meets the standards of review set forth in section 5.4.f of our village ordinance. Applications for special use will be considered based on whether the standards of review set forth in section 5.3.e of our village ordinance are met. The Village Board of Trustees will consider the recommendations we make this evening at their regularly scheduled meeting on November 12th?
26th.
Oh, sorry. November 26th?
Yes.
On the 26th of November. Our recommendations to the board are advisory only. The Village Board has the final say on all applications and will make its own determination as to whether to grant or deny them. The Village Board is not legally bound by our recommendations. There's one small exception to this rule. If this board makes a negative recommendation with respect to an application, in order for the Village Board of Trustees to approve that application, a supermajority of 5 of 7 Village Board members must vote to approve it, than a simple majority of 4. There is one small other peculiarity to our proceedings of which you should be aware. This board does not operate by majority vote. We operate instead by a tyranny of 4. In other words, no matter how many board members are present at a given evening, in order to get a positive recommendation from this board, an application must receive 4 affirmative votes. And as you can see, we have 5 members present, so 4 of the 5 members must vote in the affirmative to recommend to the Board of Trustees. In recognition of this unusual feature of our procedure, when we do not have all members of the board present on a given evening, which we don't tonight, we give the applicants who are scheduled to come before us that night the option of requesting a continuance to the next available date on our schedule. The next available date for any applicant who would like to request a continuance this evening is 12th. Is that correct? Is it
I would say probably the December 4th.
December 4th?
Mm-hmm.
December 4th. There's no penalty for asking for a continuance. No such request will be held against you when your case is eventually heard. If you wish to ask for a continuance, however, you must do so at the beginning of your presentation before making any substantive arguments as to the merits of the case. Please also be aware that if you request a continuance, there's no guarantee as to how many board members will be present on the evening in which to which your case is continued. The cases we shall hear this evening will be heard in the order set forth on the pre-printed agenda on the table near the door. When your case is called, please proceed to the podium, state your name and address, and tell us exactly why your applications meet the standards of review that are applicable to it. Each member of this board is a longtime resident of the village and has visited your property during the past week. In addition, we have received from the village staff these green booklets containing all written information that you have submitted in support of your application, as well as any other correspondence that the village has received. Accordingly, it's not necessary that you repeat what you have already stated in writing. Please hit just the high points with particular attention to why you believe the applications meet the standards of review. After the applicant has a chance to speak, we will open the podium to others who wish to speak. Everyone will be permitted to have their say, though we would ask that you keep your comments as short and to the point as possible. After we have heard all oral presentations, I will close the evidence and the members of the board will discuss what they have heard and take a vote. Once the evidence is closed, no further testimony on an application may be offered. The only people entitled to speak during that part of the proceedings will be the members of this board. This meeting is a legal proceeding and all testimony tonight must be given under oath. If you are here planning to testify tonight, I would ask you to raise your right hand this time and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that you will tell the truth?
Yeah, they're right.
In the testimony that you're about to give? If so, please say, I do. Mr. Roberts, could you please call, Mr. Randolph, could you please call the first case?
2019 Z28. It's 2904 Old Glenview Road.
Good evening, Honorable Zoning Board members. I'm Joel Feldman from the Sidley Austin Law Firm. We represent Chabad of Wilmette on a pro bono basis. We learned this morning that unfortunately one of your colleagues is ill and could not be here this evening, bringing the number of zoning board members available to vote to 5. We think it's in everyone's interest to have as well-populated a board as possible when the presentation is made, and therefore we request a continuance. My client's meeting tomorrow because the pushback requires certain decisions that be made, and what decisions they make will implicate what date we ask for, so I don't have a specific date to request. We recognize that if we don't request December 4 by this Friday and go with a different date, that we would have mailing obligations, which we obviously understand and accept.
Okay, any questions?
No, I move to go. We have to make that motion, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so moved.
If no comments, do I have a motion for a request to continue this contingently to December 4th, right?
Yes. I think Christine moved, and I'll second that.
To table it, yeah.
But understanding that we may be requesting a different date, and if we do, we would have mailing obligations.
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
Thank you.
okay. No more discussion? Can you please call for a vote?
Yes.
I think we
All
just
in
said all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Case 2019 Z19 624 Elmwood Avenue.
Move to continue this matter till November 20th, 2019.
All in
second.
favor?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So just to get this straight for me, as a relative newcomer, the requestors don't need to be present?
I believe they don't if they've already agreed to a date.
Okay.
Please call the next case.
2019 Z27 206 Girard Avenue.
Move to continue this matter until January 15th, 2020.
To the second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Case 2019 Z39 1624 Lake Avenue.
Well, you guys want to go forward?
Good evening, board members. My name is Leila Kapitzik,
I'm Elvira Kapitzik.
and so we are at 1624 Lake Avenue. And I don't know how to proceed with this, but my husband.
We were
may have-
hoping that somebody will do this before that we learn process. But now we are first.
Yeah, you just have to hit the high points of what you're trying to do.
Okay.
So such as
And the reasons that you feel that,
You want to keep your garage.
you know, why the variance should be approved.
Okay, and this is stated in the letter that we submitted within the whole package. The garage that we currently own is built in 1961, so a while ago, and it's a very sturdy brick garage, and that structure is a 2.5 car garage. Tearing it down and rebuilding would require a lot of additional cost, as we do have intention to build the house. We're still in the process. So the look of it and the neighborhood appeal would not be impacted as of, since we're not going to change anything. We wouldn't want to change anything, but the cost involved would be significant. So we estimated between $30,000-$35,000 to tear it down, to build it up, and also if we may share our observations, lately we've seen only garages built like in a split second, build up in a very not so sturdy structure. So in points of a fire or any type of a security, we think this is way to go, way to keep this one. And also the appeal in the neighborhood, we have a feel that this is somewhat kind of a fun spot for the families, because they do have a tendency to come and take pictures as the leaves are turning colors, and they do come around. So those are a couple of components, unless my husband, I may lose something. But
Originally, when we start planning to do addition, so we were not thinking about doing anything with garage. So after we submitted the plan, this whole process is completely new to us, and then that project was reclassified as new construction addition based on the new construction zoning, and then that this was a surprise for us that we need to deal with garage, and plus we got additional cost doing house addition based on new zoning ordinance, that we need to do additional things that we didn't plan, and doing rebuilding this garage, it would really impact our budget. I mean, we were not ready for that.
So as I understand it, what is constructed there now is something you didn't do.
Exactly.
So it already is, no matter what you do to the main building, this is already exceeds the currently allowable zoning ordinance with respect to impervious surface. And the other thing, the point, I understand that your renovation on the house is to such an extent that it's deemed to be a new construction, and I talked with Ms. Randolph, and she said that she doesn't think that you will need a variance for the renovations that you're doing to the house. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Yes.
So all we're looking at is dealing with this existing condition, which is something you didn't create. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Do you currently live in the home?
We do, but we got out.
We just moved out.
Okay.
And it's
Waiting for permit.
Oh, okay.
so we just.
So your other
privilege.
permit, you didn't request any variances or anything else?
No,
Okay.
nothing has changed since the day we moved until we started the process of.
Any other questions for the applicant?
And you're beginning your renovation soon, right?
Well, hopefully. We want to begin tomorrow, but
Okay,
of course,
yeah.
we understand.
Yes, it's not going to sit, the lot isn't going to be empty except for the garage.
Yes, that's
so-
correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Any other comments? Hearing none, thank you very much. You can sit down, and
Thank you.
if there are other comments among the trustees, we will proceed to do that.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Is there anybody in the audience?
Anybody want to speak on this application? Seeing none. Do I need a motion?
Make a motion. I move to recommend granting a request for a variation to permit the retention of a non-conforming attached or detached garage upon demolition of the principal structure at 1624 Lake Avenue in accordance with the plan submitted.
I'll second that.
I visited the property, and I agree it's a nice brick structure garage, and I think the part that is not in compliant is just outside of what it needs to be, and it wouldn't make sense to tear it down just to build another one. So, like I said, the requests are minimal, and it's been there, and it's functioning, so I can support it.
I agree with what you said, and I would add that it's a two-car garage or two-and-a-half-car garage, which meets the code, so I don't see any reason why we should make them tear down the existing one to put up another one.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of an interesting situation. Usually when you have construction that's deemed more than 50% new, then it's treated as new. And when it's treated as new, you can't have any variances. So I guess if the garage is part of the structure, it would probably, in my opinion, be more of an issue than having it be a detached garage. The hardship is that it's already there, it was built, it's useful. It's not like a lot of the other 1960s garages that maybe were one-car garage that you can't even put a car in anymore. So the hardship, relates to, in my opinion, to the fact that it would be hardship to have to tear it down and build a smaller garage just to meet the variances, even though technically under the way the code is written now, you should have to do that. So I think this is something that I can support and is, should receive a variance. So.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. I agree. I'm happy to keep a little less garbage out of, a little less debris out of the landfill by letting them retain a good garage.
Okay, I can support it also for reasons I've stated, and with that, can you please call for, I think we need to vote on this one.
Yeah.
Mr. Colleen,
Yes.
Ms. Norick,
Yes.
Mr. Peloton,
Yes?
Mr. Sermon,
Yes.
Chairman Schneider.
Yes. And this goes with a unanimous recommendation with five of us. It will go to the Board of Trustees on the date that we've talked about. They may just put it on the consent agenda, but to be safe, you may want to attend the meeting. Thank you very much.
Good luck to you. And if you want to trade garages, I have a slightly smaller one.
I move to authorize the chairman to prepare the report and recommendation for the Zoning Board of Appeals for case number 2019-C-39.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Thank you. Does anybody in the audience want to speak on any other subject? Seeing none, can I move to close this meeting?
So moved.